Hey folks, Rick here. Welcome to my channel. Alright, just got done racing the IXCR Mission Impossible. So this is a track I normally come to. It's only about 3 hours from my house. It's one of the closer ones. Ended up racing Vet C. So they don't have a senior C, which is where I've been normally racing. The 50 plus group starts up on the first row, and I don't want to start up there. And anyway, so this was starting on about the 5th row, so I chose this one here. It's just a ridiculously fast group, but that's how it goes. Lined up there, I think there were 17 of us. I ended up on 16th, but I rode as fast as I could. I had a good race the whole time. It was a lot of fun. We had some new spots on there. Obviously ran it backwards from last year. This has a huge creek section in it, and that was kind of nice. Got through that, but yeah, didn't have any issues at all. Had a good race. Figured, placed way back toward the rear where I figured I would, so that's all fine. But yeah, had a good race. Hopefully the video will come out. We really lucked out with the weather. It was overcast. It was supposed to rain, and it just kind of went around us. And like the last mile or something, I was getting some sprinkles. But it just, with the overcast and the moisture in the air, really just, took the heat away. So it wasn't just a blistering hot out there. So that was a plus. The ground on the whole track was just about as good as you can get it. So it was really nice there. It's doing some light sprinkling here and there, but not even enough to call it rain. So a really good day overall. So yep, hope you enjoy the video, and take care. Alright folks, so I'm racing the IXCR Mission Impossible. Ended up going Vet C in this one. They don't have a 40 plus, so this is really the best class for me to go out and have some fun there. I ended up with 16th out of 17, but I really had a great race, so I can't complain there. The 50 plus would have started on the first row, which I don't like, and again, they don't have a 40 plus, so this is a good one. Very fast group. We'll see here. I don't get the best of starts, but it's okay. These guys are going to roll by me, but a little cautious going into the first turn here, making sure I don't get hung up there. There's one minor crash here. It's technically the second turn here. Go around this hay bale here, just keeping an eye out. Everything gets really clean, and right here someone's gets stuck up on something, so I'm trying to get around that. Track conditions are perfect. It was threatening to rain, it didn't. It's not very dusty, and it's completely overcast, so it gets dark in some areas here, but the ground's perfect, and it's fairly cool. I don't know what the temperature was. I think it was in the 70s, but it was a lot nicer than it could have been. Yeah, so the track was fairly rough, I would say, overall. A lot of just like, I don't know, just bumps and stuff on there. It was really hard to get any speed going on a lot of this, but the track's pretty good overall. I like going to this track. There's one off-camber section that they put in it's a downhill off-camber with a tree. I ended up hitting a tree, just touching it. That was the only issue that I had this whole time. I was just still nursing a backache, so I was very cautious on some of this stuff, that it didn't get worse. But yeah, ended up having a good day. Had no issues, rode good. Despite racing this track every year, they had some new spots being backwards. Actually, a lot of it was new to me, so I just didn't really recognize it. So still going a little bit slower here this first lap, but you can see like this section right here, it's just bump. You gotta, a lot of these guys stand up and just floor it, and you skip across the top. That's just not me. But pretty good overall. So this little section right here, man, this is a huge jump. You can really get some air off that thing if you're not watching yourself there. I didn't get a lot of air, I'll tell you that much, but some people I've seen just really fly. Yeah, so I'm pretty much last at this time here going to the woods, and I think I stay here the whole race. I came through my first lap at 16, and I stayed 16 the whole time. Never did improve any. So just how it was. Just out here, this was really a good class for me to come out and have some fun with. Started about mid-pack from a race order, and so that's just about right. So it keeps me out of a lot of the younger classes and a lot of the bottlenecks, but I don't have a ton of fast people behind me. You'll see here this first little bit there, I do got a lot of people going around me, but it's not like it's 10 classes and stuff like that, so it's a lot more funner here starting in the middle. Yeah, so that was the pro hill right there. They had it roped off the first one. This section here to me was fun. If it wasn't for, there's a couple of great big whoops right there. If it wasn't for that, I think that I could probably go around and beat the people going up that pro hill, because it's like on my second lap and stuff, it's just wide open third gear as fast as you can go until you get to the top and you hit those whoops. But here you can see a real tight section. There's a bunch of these here just trying to get your way through. This one here is pretty dusty, but it never really got dusty. I guess I just didn't go through with a bunch of people, or have a bunch of people. So here goes a few people coming around me. But there's also a lot of like fairly good-sized tree limbs in the track on a lot of these places there. If I see them, I'll point them out, but just look, there's a lot of stuff you're running over. There's a lot of stuff that may have been cut, stuff that's laying across, and sometimes you hit it, end will pop up and it can get caught in your netting. There was a lot of that I was watching now. There's a lot of things that I hit, a lot of things there, a couple things hit in my netting. At some point here, I'm not sure if it's his first lap or the second lap, there's one guy that's got like a 15-20 footer he got skewered by. I think it went up under in between his A-arms and stuff like that. It sucks when that happens, but man, you got to be careful. Careful when you're running over that stuff. And then sometimes if the guy in front of you runs it over and pops it up, and then it gets caught in your gets caught in your front end. Stop and try yanking that stuff out. So just like that right there, that'll eventually get caught in somebody's bike there if you're not careful. Yeah, a lot of this tight stuff here. Again, a lot of it felt fairly new, and I think though that they put a lot of new stuff in last year and were running it backwards. So I think that's a lot why I didn't really remember it. This track's pretty old, and so it gets really ruddy, and so they created they did create a bunch of new stuff last year, if I'm not mistaken. So pretty good overall. Didn't have any issues again today. Again, there will be a spot up here. There's an off-camber downhill, which I just struggle with my bike and just the way I'm built, and actually smacked a tree at the bottom. But I mean, I just kissed it with my front tire. I had to back up about an inch and go around. But I'll show you there. I'll see if I can see it on the first lap here, but there's actually a go-around. And I'm not sure if the go-around's marked or the go-around developed on the second lap. But the second lap, thankfully, I found the go-around and didn't have to go down that off-camber piece. So I was thankful over that. I just hate going down into a tree. It just makes it dangerous. Everybody else does. Everyone else just flies down that hill like there's no issues, and so it's just some reason I can't do it. Yeah, I'm not one for standing up or leaning away off the bike. I just ain't that flexible anymore. Kind of one of those go over the side, hang on for dear life type of people. But that's okay. Yeah, it's nice out here. This time of year, you can expect just boatloads of humidity, obviously heat, and you're just dying. And for this time of year, I think the weather just turned out to be perfect. You'll see here, this is like a light spot, but it's still kind of darkish looking. But we're just overcast. It's threatening to rain all day, and we just didn't get any. Like I said there, it was probably maybe the last mile, half a mile, started to get a little sprinkles. Had to click the roll off once or twice, but it was like nothing.
So I'm really thankful. And then, you know, it's funny there on my intro video, it was just a slight sprinkle, but I didn't get too far down the road and the rain let loose. It was raining so hard, I got down about 40 miles an hour. That was as fast as I could drive down the highway. It was raining so bad. So I'm not sure if any of that hit the track on the PM or what. If that type of rain hit the track, you'd just be done for. It was really coming down, but we really lucked out. There goes another group by. Yeah, a lot of riders go by and give me a shout out. I really appreciate that. I'm not sure if they're laughing at me when they go by, but either way, it's a lot of fun just having some fun when you're out here. It's a little uphill here. That's kind of a nice little fun one here. It was a lot longer hill than I had anticipated here, so you get a little speed going, but it's a lot of, you know, you're kind of got a little bit of ditches on the left, a little bit on the right, so you're kind of one side or the other, but not too big. You can see here, I got somebody behind me, but it is so thick right here, you just can't do anything. And you can see the tree branches and stuff. I'm running over them a bunch, but it's just terrible here. So I'm trying to find a spot here to let these guys behind me go. But there's a couple of spots here that just isn't any room. I'll check behind there, see if there's anybody coming. Just let as many people by as I can there so I don't hold them up. Yeah, I think about this time here I inhaled a bug. So this is a little off-camber spot with a, and then there's a ditch on the left, and you run over a big set of roots on the right there. So it just wasn't a big deal. It's just one of those areas I had to go a little slow and make sure I didn't get any problems. So, and a couple of guys here sneaking up behind me. I'll let them go. And one more, I think. Alright, now we're back after it. So, yeah, I think someone's behind me already again. Yeah, we're through another tight section here, but I think, I don't know, I think having trouble memorizing the track as I'm watching it here, but hopefully here, yeah, just kind of ease over. A little bit of a ditch on my right, hoping somebody doesn't come by and tag my front wheel. Everyone got by nice and cleanly. They've done a really good job with marking a course this time too. That's good. Sometimes these things get tough. I like it when they put that tape up there. It really makes it easier. You can see here, it's just dark. A lot of it's fresh cut stuff here. So if you don't got some flagging, it makes it difficult sometimes. We get down the water section though, I struggle a little bit because you know you can't put arrows in the water, but you're in the water for so long you start to wonder, did I miss the out? And so I didn't have any issues there, but that's always one of the things. Here's the guy with the stick. Watch this guy here. I think he ends up coming back there. I think I've seen his video. Look at that size of that thing here he's got going on there. That's what you got to watch out for. There's tons of those things in the track here, and you get somebody will kick up if someone's in front of you and kick one up. Man, it could just skewer you. So yeah, it's bad luck when that happens. Sometimes that stuff really gets caught in there. Got a squeaker coming up behind me somewhere, unless it's in front. Yeah, it's so easy to get mud and stuff in your brakes, and they just squeak really bad. So this kind of stuff here was about as bad a bottleneck as I got here. And so I really can't complain. Some of these ones there, it's just aggravating when you get hung up for a minute or two. But a little stop that the guy that got with that branch, and then like this one right here, that's about all I had. So I felt I really lucked out today. Here's this guy here. He wasn't looking too good getting up. I thought he was okay. I seen him moving around, but there was like no place here to pull over. But hopefully he done all right there. I was really looking for a place to stop, but there just isn't any space on here to stop whatsoever other than just leaving your bike in the middle of the track. But I think he was okay. He looked like moving around pretty good. Probably got the wind knocked at him. So right there I was very concerned I had something stuck. There's that guy. Now we're off again. Yeah, just a lot of again, you just look at the branches and stuff on there. You just really had to be careful, I'll tell you. Yeah, still choking on that bug. It ain't coming up. They're really bad. I don't know what lap went, but somehow a bug or something got inside my helmet, was crawling around in my ear. You want to talk about driving you crazy? I thought I was going to have to pull off. And finally, whatever it was, got out or stopped moving or something like that. That was a little bit freaky. Yeah, it's really thick in this area here. You can see you ain't got much visibility. There's more sticks. So someone up here, yeah, I think the guy was stalled. The guy was trying to give him a little push. A couple other people bottled up behind. Yeah, there's a lot of time spent in this wood. There's a lot of real tight wood. You don't got any, this is about, like this here, about all you really get on the straightaways. Right toward the finish line, there's a couple of spots where you're running next to the campers. It's actually really, really rough. But yeah, no big straightaways. This wasn't a very high-speed track whatsoever. It's just a lot of this stuff here. But they had a really good design in here. You can see it's just real tight, real dark. You know, a lot of leaves smacking you in the face. But a lot of it's kind of flowy too. Even though it's like this, you can get, there's a lot of third gear stuff here you can get in. Obviously here you got to do a little ducking, or I do. Should be coming up here. Going to be dropping down off this hill here, I believe, pretty quick. Trying to remember where we're at. We're just going back and forth here on the top. I think we'll drop off here in a little bit. Someone coming up behind me again. They're about done. Eventually here I just kind of settle out, find my spot, and it's just fun. But it wasn't until about halfway through the second lap there the leaders start coming around on you. But they go by real fast, and it's a lot more spread out. Yeah, just trying to get through some of this little stuff here. Go over a few saplings. Hit something there, a branch or something was sticking out at me. Yeah, it's real tight in here. It's a nice viewing area there. Just a little straight off to the right and immediately up on the left. So this is just a straight down, straight up thing. It's got to go a little slower going through it. A little leaner to the left. Get by that. I don't mind those little ones like that. I just go through them slow, then I get through them okay. It doesn't really hold me up all that much. So just glad this wasn't a lot of side hill stuff. Yeah, so now we're kind of coming down here. I'm going to figure out where we're going. Yeah, down into the river. So this is the start of this river section here, and you're in this thing for a while, and just trying to see, you know, there isn't a ton of markings there, so you just really got to watch out for when it says get out. It's easy to miss. But you can see here, this thing's got a lot of ledges. So this particular direction, you're actually going down. But some years you actually go up this thing, depending on how they run the track. But it's pretty good. It's all rocky. You just got to kind of watch out for any big things sticking up at you. Other than that, you can pretty much go. So I'm not going here as fast as I usually do. A second lap, I pick it up there. I'm just kind of feel it out. I'm not sure how deep it is. Not sure where the get out is. Like right there, looks like. Oh, this is the way to get out. But yeah, some people I've seen there actually went straight. I did see some people going that way. If you just tilt your head 1 second, you'll miss that arrow. Yeah, looks like at some point in time we went off to the right there, but not this time. Get back in that creek here at some point in time. We haven't got to the end of that thing yet. There we go. See that there? We used to, one year we used to have to go out on. Just trying to get through here, figure out where I'm going there. The water's running, again, it's running with us, but it's running at a pretty good pace at a couple spots. So, I got somebody I'm going to try to hang off here. Hopefully he goes by without completely drenching me. Not sure if this guy passed me. One guy passes me in this water. Alright, yes, this here, thankfully, this is all rock, and right here it gets chewed up for some reason there. It's just, it's aggravating there. You can see how easy that was getting out. There's no reason that everybody can't do it, but you get a few people that just gets, this right here is the worst spot. There's some massive, right there you can see I'm hung up on the skid, so people try to go around that. I wish they'd get rid of those rocks. There's no way to go over that without just tearing up the bottom of your motor. But, yeah, back there at that other section there, it gets a little bad after you get out, but people just get in there, they try to go through in first gear and just spin and dig holes, and it's just makes it impossible for everyone else that comes by. They end up getting stuck, and all you need to do is just stay even on the throttle, and man, it's like driving across concrete right there. But I didn't have any issues, but it did get worse and worse, but it was, thankfully, it got worse and worse once you got to out of the water. So coming out of the water was pretty good there. But that's how it goes. Everyone's out here doing the best they can, but it's just, I hate making the track worse than it needs to be. But yeah, those rock sections there, man, that's terrible. That one guy that was off to the left trying to get his bike, he was trying to take a go around. I remember doing that one other time. It actually wasn't any better. Just trying to avoid those huge rocks right there. You just can't, there's no way to get by them. Yeah, so now we're up on the top here again a little bit. I think we're gonna feel like we're gonna drop down here a little bit. Yeah, so this one here, this is a little bit of an off-camber, but it's got a, on the right side, it's got a big enough trench there where you can just hang out. It didn't have any issues. I'm just making sure I don't do any sliding out on a thing there, but not really an issue with this one. So we drop down here, a little mud crossing. we're up on the side of this bank, and then it's a pretty steep drop, and then it's up kind of a nasty hill. This guy here is pointing me off to the right, and so I'm just gonna take it for granted he knows what he's doing, and it turned out to be a pretty good line. There's a massive rock here right there on the right, and then you got to avoid this one, so you had to do a crisscross. But outside of that, as long as you didn't pull a wheelie, it was pretty easy. It seemed to be, oh, this right here. So right to the left is where I should have gone, and I'm going down this thing, and you can see that tree. I'm heading right toward it, and I'm not moving it. And I got my wheel turned, so it's just, I didn't even actually touch it. But I got one guy right there, so I'm just gonna back. Yeah, I'm trying to. My reverse is on the fender, and I keep turning off the bike. So I don't know what the hell I'm doing there. Just getting the wrong switch. But so now I'm back out. But from this point on, and I didn't see an arrow pointing that way, but there's a clear line. So other people figured out they didn't want to go down that either. On the second lap, they started going to the left, and that's the way I ended up going. I didn't want any more encounters with the tree, and again, I didn't actually really tag it, but you can see it was the only way that bike wanted to go was right toward that tree. So this is another area. You had all those people up there standing there looking at me. I felt like I needed a turn somewhere. You know, here again, am I turning? It's like, no. So now I see the way out, and we come right out. So now you go up this hill here. It's just an uphill, but it gets a little slimy. It's one of these ones here, you gotta, as the race goes on, you gotta get a little speed coming around that corner. Otherwise it could get a little bit slippery on you, but again, it didn't have any issues. I don't know if I see anybody else have any issues. I pretty much, when I got to that spot, I was the only one there, so. Yeah, more leaves in the face. Trying to figure out where I'm going. There's this little section you can rip along pretty well in. Again, not really sure if there's any kickers or where we're going exactly on this first lap. Kind of drop down here. There's a little ditch right there at the bottom. You got to watch out for, or try to pull a wheelie through or something. I'm out here just checking out the landscaping. Here we go, back on it. Yeah, real bumpy stuff. That there was nice that they marked that thing. That was just like a drop-off area there. If you didn't see that thing, boy, it could ruin your day. But they done a good job of marking stuff like that. That's a little tight section. You can see it really deep right there, and you got to go between the two trees. So something there just to pay attention to. Make sure you don't get stuck. It gets a little bit deeper there, and so you got to hit it with a little speed. And then it's nice though. Sometimes you can, the ruts and stuff, you can drag the bottom, so you got to pick up speed, but then you can also use the ruts to, help go around those corners a little faster as well. So. Yeah, so another section here, just trying to get a line of sight on, see how fast I can get going. See, it's other than getting smacked with tree limbs there, it's pretty straight shot right there. You can actually get some speed going there once you've gone through it once. Yeah, if you get here a day early and had one of those fancy electric bikes and was able to do a track walk or something like that, it'd darn sure be beneficial, but it's just not in the cards for me. It's a little bit of a downhill, a couple of big whoop-de-doos right there, so you can't really take that with too much speed. Yeah, so here's a pretty cool section. This is like, these types of woods here are great. Just, it's not super tight, so you can get a little bit of speed going through them. It's kind of always fun. Yeah, this section I remember, right here, it's really rough. A lot of humps right there. You got to be careful of it. I don't know, one lap I hit that a little bit too fast. Yeah, there should be a creek crossing here. Yeah, this one right here. So they've got this one marked with X's. You do not want to get off this thing. So if you try to go through the water, it's about as close to quicksand as you can get. That stuff is just deep. And, you know, in the past they tell you do not cross that water section because that will be the end of you. You will sit there. So it's just make sure you go easy across that. Some years there, that bridge is wet. It can really get slippery. I've seen people actually slip off into the water, but this year was didn't have any problems there. It stayed dry, and yeah, just make sure you get a straight shot going across it. Yeah, this is an old section of the track here. It's a little dusty, a little rough in a couple of spots. And then this is probably a decent straightaway, but it's just, I'm just in third gear here. You see some of these guys are going, but you know, it's almost shaking the guy's fenders off. It gets really bad. Now we're into a little zigzag here, just to make sure you don't get too much speed. Just checking to see if there's anybody else coming up. I like it when I come up to one of those hail bales and all of a sudden out of nowhere someone tries to, you know, come right up the inside and cut you off. That's always fun and exciting. But I didn't have any issues this lap. Actually, I shouldn't say that. There was, I think earlier on, after the start, somebody came around. I should have pointed that out. Probably blocking it out of my head. I didn't appreciate it. Yeah, a little bit of a downhill section here. You're kind of really stuck onto the right. Now we're just into a little bit of a rough patch. Run along here pretty well. Yeah. Now it's funny, I was going to say we're going to fix to make a right turn go uphill, but obviously we're not. So someone's coming up behind me. I'll find a spot here. Drop off right there. Yeah, boy, I clearly don't have this memorized whatsoever. Yeah, this is... You remember that this was pretty darn rough right here. I should have went to the right. This is just rocky. Has the potential to cause you problems there, especially that last tree right there. It's kind of wanting to go on there, but it just, again, just stay easy on the throttle. Your bike stays straight and up you go. It's just a really wore out section. So now we're going over the obstacle course. They normally have this thing to where there's a go-around. I'm kind of looking at this darn thing. I just don't, this isn't my favorite thing to do. I don't really like this stuff. They normally have a bypass section. I always just take that, but this one wasn't bad. It's just some big tires, and they had them set up actually pretty nice, so it really wasn't that bad a deal. I just don't prefer to go over them. But yeah, this year here, I think they just made them a little bit nicer so that they didn't make the overpass. Some years they actually have a couple of them set up where you can jump from one to the other. Obviously not me doing that, but somebody could. So I thought someone was coming up behind me here. So a little bit rocky section right here. Then we're up in another kind of a rough field section. We're right at the very end of the race here. We're going to go down and we're going to come back, do a couple of zigzags, and right on our left here is where the finish line is, and that'll wrap it up for this race here. So yeah, so this is about it. Got through this lap here, do a couple more. Fairly slow race, fun track though, perfect conditions, blocked out with no rain. A little bit of dust here. I never had any visibility problems or choking on it, but yeah, really turned out to be great. Fun track. So, you know, hopefully you got another lap after this one here. If you enjoy the video, hang out for the rest. I do pick it up. You see a bunch more people in there passing me and stuff like that. So, yeah, overall, you know, great day. Even though, again, I finished 16th out of 17, so that's about as worse as you can do. But I came out here to have fun and darn sure had it. So with that, take care and enjoy the rest of the race. Thank you.
229, 229.